Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fintech Frenzy. Today, we have a little bit of a mix between SOFI, Robinhood, a little bit of SOFI news, there's big SOFI news, and then there's also little SOFI news as well, all mixed in there as well. So we're going to be talking about the spread of it, but yeah, let me just make sure. I wanted to bring up this little chart here for you guys. Awesome. Okay, great. First, let's just go on to talk about something that I thought was a little bit interesting, that could prove to be quite useful for the Robinhood investors out there. Saw this from Palantir Hotline saying that Robinhood has quietly released Apple Pay instant transfers as a way to move money into Robinhood. Now, I have not been able to see this. They didn't post about this or anything. I was checking their website all day. But as you can see, there is now this new instant transfers button to allow Apple Pay, to use that money to transfer it over into your Robinhood. So imagine you being able to do that instant transfer, then immediately deploy capital onto different stocks and things, making it available to use right away. Very, very interesting. The future of fintech is becoming so fast, so instant. Exactly what you want to do is going to be the thing that happens. So very frictionless. Now, let's jump in and talk about the big story. Let's talk about potential user growth expectations, and some of the good news that SOFI has put out today. Not on their own, but a third party of covering SOFI, however. Okay. Anyone heard of SimilarWeb? I have. It's the most accurate source that I use to get website traffic. Now, TipRanks has one as well. I've seen it glitch enough times where I don't really trust it anymore. It'll say the company that you love is down 93% on their website traffic, while other apps are telling you that that's not the case. SimilarWeb seemingly does not rush out their reports, but whenever they do get it out, probably 9 to 10 days after the month is actually finished, then they tell you the numbers. And they've never, from what I've seen, changed their previous estimates, unlike TipRanks and these sorts of ones that have changed them previously. Now, SOFI, obviously we can take a look at a bunch of numbers, but in my opinion, it's much easier to visualize what the heck is going on through those numbers. And as you can see, in the last 3 months between January, well, at least hopefully you can see, between the last 3 months of January, February, and March have been the 3 highest months over the last year. Okay. Even higher than their December numbers, which broke records from there. Those 3 coming months after that have been amazing. So this has led to over 48 million visits to the desktop and mobile traffic. Okay. To me, this is not a direct correlation to user growth, but it's one heck of a good sign. Obviously, if you're going to continue to hit new records, there has to be something that is going to lead people to sign on multiple more times. Okay. Volatile market can have that happen without user growth. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. People check their accounts more, they check their balances multiple times that they're logging in, can lead these numbers up. That being said, during this time between February and March, we didn't even have the crypto side for SOFI. And really, this is more on the equities potentially, or just banking in general through new users. So unlike the likes of, which I also tracked here, Coinbase and Robinhood, where the crypto rush is so unbelievably noticeable. Okay, the spike is just immense. So congratulations to the Robinhood and Coinbase shareholders, because Robinhood saw a record-breaking December, and then a record-breaking. Now this is of this year, trailing 12 months, not actually record-breaking. Robinhood would have seen higher amounts in 2021. That being said, from trailing 12 months, December was a new record. Then January beat that record. Then February beat that record. Then March came in and crushed, freaking crushed that record. So that's obviously going to mean, because a lot of their stuff actually has to do with activity rather than just sitting, on the app. So unlike SoFi, the website traffic doesn't mean nearly as much to their overall revenue because, well, the loans, no matter how many times someone signs on, the loans are going to get paid out on a monthly basis. No matter how many times people sign on, the checking account's really not going to make too much of a difference. Yes, it's going to mean a difference in the investment side, but that makes up such a small percentage of SoFi's earnings. Unlike Coinbase and Robinhood, which are directly related to website traffic, the more people are on the app, the more likely they are to click the buy and sell button, and both ways they make money. So, yeah, congratulations. This is freaking amazing. And all while, Kathy Wood's been selling Robinhood up into these numbers, which is, I think, a poor fact. But yeah. Let's see other numbers that are very notable from these apps that I also track. Cash App breaking into a new record, 24.82 million visits in March. Let me see how. Would it take me long to track this out? Let me just see here. Oh, actually, my camera's blocking. Okay, and then which one is Cash App 9? All right. So this is actually Cash App. Oh, sorry. Cash App. There we go. Love to make it a beautiful green for you, but this is essentially how you can visualize it. Uh, so breaking new records, but not nearly the spike that you see from the trading essential apps, right? But maybe some of this is actually driven by Bitcoin regardless. But the ones that are more focused around trading activity, you can just see how much they're absolutely booming. Nubank stopped the bleeding from February. They kind of dropped a little bit in February to one of the lowest numbers that they reported throughout the year, and then back up in March. Now, the only thing that sucks about some of these website traffic sort of things, whenever you're dealing with them, like PayPal is going to be significantly hampered by this. Robinhood could maybe potentially be hampered by this, and Nubank specifically, is that different websites will track different numbers. So for Nubank, you go to the nubank.br website because you're in Brazil. The people who are now starting to sign up and at heavy droves now through Mexico are driving their traffic to a nubank.mx, right? That is not tracked here. So there's a certain percentage of growth that in the nearer quarters you're just not going to be able to see that growth from other geographies. And then Colombia is included on that. PayPal, so many different geographies. Robinhood now with the UK version as well might also start driving traffic to a different app. I'm not sure if they have a UK app or not, or UK website, but I'm sure they do. Um, or I would venture a bet that that's the truth. But yeah, so let's see what else we have here. Get these out of the way. Come on. Okay, yeah. So Coinbase, unbelievable growth. Chime is just this such a steady Yeti grower. Very interesting to watch. They've kind of just slowly ticked up every single month, all the way to where they are today. Awesome. They're going to continue, hopefully, at least I believe so, and eventually IPO, and then allow people to actually start making some purchases. But you can see they are SoFi's largest Galileo customer. So you do actually want to be betting for the people who are trying to make what was that saying that Chris Hager said? Making mountains out of molehills. If you want to make a mountain out of a molehill, track Chime's website traffic and count that towards Galileo's growth. There you go. There's a confirmation bias for you. Um, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Large growths in March across the board for the most part. I don't think actually any of them went down. No. Okay, cool. Um, let's drop out of that and move on to the next one. Make sure there's no questions as well. Okay. All right. Anthony Noto had a fun time tweeting today because of this little partnership that they started talking about. Wyndham Clark now is partnering with SoFi. They dream as big as I do. Let's go. So, supposedly, this is the top fourth largest PGA golf player, like in the rankings right now. From what I know, also though, that the rankings change pretty quickly in golf. But um, yeah, signed on an amazing player. We are just dominating all the different sports right now. SoFi wants to be the name in sports whenever it comes to banking, NBA, football, now golf, getting into TGL next year. Once again, I do want to preface, I do think that this is great and can't wait to see the results of how much faster we can get member growth going. But anyone can pay for these players. Friggin' Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and all these are the large banks that also used to sponsor golf leagues as well. So it's just a matter of what the rate that people are paying. Now let's see. Oh no, sorry, that was just a tweet here. Yeah, let's do some questions and um, also let's talk a little bit about NAR, but let's have some questions first. So NAR, we spoke about a little bit yesterday, but the SoFi and National Association of Realtors actually partnered with SoFi to enable some of their personal loans, home loans, all of these things, more of the lending side. Potentially, their checking and savings accounts too. They said there's going to be more perks. We don't actually know quite yet, but they did partner with a separate brokerage to bring on, sort of the 401k and the retirement perks or the retirement products. So that's going to be a little bit different. It's not full scope, but for the most part, the lending side is what SoFi wants to get into mainly anyway. So, yeah, I just really want to see what that member growth is going to be this quarter. Not even just for SoFi, but for all fintechs. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty slam dunk, uh, pretty slam dunk quarter. No, I don't trade options. In Canada, we have extremely like if I had Robinhood, I might explore a lot more options, because I have this amazing brokerage that'll allow me to do these sorts of things. But here in Canada, especially where my money's parked, we really don't have good tools for that. See what else. Gary Gordon saying round three. Well, let's wait for after earnings. And then we can have continuous conversations of after earning beats. And eventually you're going to have to come over to the dark side. Actually, you're on the dark side. I'm over here. I'm the Jedi. Freaking wanting better products for consumers. Getting SoFi shares for $4.01 in January of 2026 is a gift. Oh, I bet. I bet. I am a Canadian, but escape trading fees by moving to the States. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to go, but just I continue to deepen myself more and more. I just got this freaking house. So um I don't know. Do I buy on the way up? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Most notably would be Nubank because I bought at the absolute bottom and I didn't have enough money in the position. And every single time I looked into the company, I loved it more and more and more and more. Um, and so I've bought up a lot, really raised my average. Like my earliest purchases was like mid threes, and now I'm like in the six and sevens. Um, how did you choose to travel on SoFi earnings day? I didn't. So I decided to travel, and then SoFi uh, did earnings day on SoFi followed me into the trade, not the other way around. But also, it's not a bad thing as long as I don't have bad internet. I'm banking on the idea that I do. I bought a bunch of equipment, so, um, small lighting equipment, small camera, small microphone, all that stuff so I can travel. Bought a little backpack so I can comfortably carry everything, my laptop. Bought a bunch of connecting equipment so I have a little travel kit. Um, so I should be fine. I've got it all set out. The only thing is I don't want to lose connection when I'm down there, and it like you guys suffer on your end watching. So Tevis is going to be the one that's actually hosting the stream. Like 100% of the time, whenever you guys watch me and Tevis together, or a SoFi weekly or anything, it's always me hosting the event, and then he cross streams onto my stream. Mainly because he's a cheapo and he doesn't want to buy the 1080p version of StreamYard, which is like, I don't know, 600 bucks a year or something like that. I forget what it is. But he's being a cheapo. So we're going to have 720. But it's an earnings call. Shouldn't affect it really. It's just a matter of me getting up in the morning. That's going to be the hard part. You know, am I going to want on vacation while I'm in Jamaica to freaking hop out of bed and start reading an earnings call at 7 a.m.? If Tevis was a stock, what stock would he be? He'd be Unity. Good company. I don't know. I don't know what kind of question that is. Well, Simple is decent. They've improved a lot in the past 3 years. Yeah, that's what I use. They have improved a lot, especially in like the real time charting and stuff. It's like so much better than what you just have to press refresh to get your price updates, and they wouldn't even be live. But those were our options for commission free trading back in the day. It was that, and then whenever I wanted to buy like Nubank and stuff, Nubank wasn't even on Wealth Simple whenever I was buying it just a year and a bit ago. So I had to buy it on TD and pay $10 a trade. Yeah, I'm from Canada. I'd be Coke stock. Why, dude? I'm a growth stock for sure. There's no dividends here. Okay, I'm some SaaS business. I don't know what I am, but I'm some SaaS business. I'm taking the day off work for SoFi earnings. Needs my full attention. Dude, it needs your morning. Okay. It needs my full attention so I can get some content out for you. But like, what are you gonna do for the rest of the day? You gonna keep reading the report? I don't know. I've got the freaking SoFi spreadsheet, which will get updated for the course members same day. So I'm gonna be freaking running through my fingers. And by the way, I'm trying to up. Okay, here's a real pitch to you guys. I need some Excel help. Okay, I'm all right on the sheets, but I need to start improving, get a lot better, um, and I'm trying to rework a way so that I can actually make like importing data a lot better. And uh, some of the hard things that I'm running into, it's like, what websites can you pull data from to get accurate information uh, that is free? And it's not that I'm not down to pay, it's that there's no way for me to pay for a service and then give that out as a spreadsheet to other people. That I don't get. Use Power BI. Or is that just Power BI? Okay, I appreciate that. I'm going to look into that. Data visualization tool by Microsoft. No, but I need Google because it needs to be shareable. But I will look into that. That sounds cool. Okay, thank you. That's the first good piece. I'm going to look into it. I'd be Boeing. I am not Boeing stock. Come on. Like Gary Gordon is Boeing stock. Market share power. Okay. Rummy, I will literally, I don't know if you're on X, but if you use this software a lot, send me a DM on X, and I'd like to do a call and figure that out. It needs a license. Well, a license for what? Microsoft? Because I have a license to Microsoft, both a business one and a personal. It's not shareable. Um, I use Microsoft every day. Like it's not the matter. I'm almost certain I probably have access to this tool, but yeah, I just need a way to pull information. And I was looking at like FinViz and all of these different websites that are free. So then, like add-ons can go in and import data off those websites. But then the information is not even accurate. Like I don't know what this is. If you guys look at Nasdaq or um, and like I was thinking about doing like Edgar as well. And if I use Edgar, then how do I do that for multiple stocks? I don't know. I don't know. I got a bunch of questions. It was freaking going crazy in my head. Sorry, this is a nerdy conversation. And the actual nerds that are listening to this, the real statistic nerds, are like, this is not a nerd talk at all. You're an idiot. But for me, who's a basic dude, trying to understand this makes no sense. Like, look at this though. I want to show you guys something. Why under SoFi's financials on Nasdaq does it say that we did $2.9 billion in sales in 2023? No, we didn't. Okay. And then if you look at, wait, let me see. Oh, if we go to quarterly, then it says we did 871 million in total revenue. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's somehow they're calculating that as part of cost of revenue, and that's not true either. That gets us like 300 and, or sorry, I forget what the number was whenever I did it, but it was like also a false number. It was like 688 million or something. I don't get where they're pulling these numbers from, and that's across the board. Macro trends, Y charts, FinViz, they all say 2.9 billion. The only one that was right that I could find was Yahoo Finance, and you can't import data off their website because they scripted in Java or some shit. Use Bloomberg Terminal. Ricky, you won't spend $5 on a membership. Okay, this dude tells me all the time, someone gift me a membership so I can watch the SoFi Weekly After Hours. And he's telling me to spend like 30 something thousand dollars Canadian for my personal account and information that I can't sell commercially. No, dude. Visual stocks, it doesn't work like that. That's paid for information, and no. Yeah, so someone else can find a live streamer to go to that yearly annual meeting on May 21st. I'm not going to be there. We did that last year. It'll be 6 minutes long. It'll be the most boring thing. Um, it'll be the most boring thing you go and listen to, and will have zero impact on the stock. So you guys enjoy, but I'll read the cliff notes or the summary or whatever. I turned 21 today, gentlemen. Nice. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Cheers to another year. Okay. Do they offer Bloomberg terminal access at universities in Canada? I don't know. But that's the thing too. It's like I could use Koifin, but then, or sorry, I'd like to use Koifin, but I can't grab data, because then if like the actual query is just going to say, hey, we don't have a subscription. You might, but we can't grab it and then put it onto this spreadsheet. Tanner is not 30. Do you guys know how old I am? Does anyone here think I'm 30? I wish I started investing at 20. Well done. It's that compounding. Rat Pack's got nothing but insults. I'm gonna go through your channel activity or like your chat history. There's not a compliment in there. It's him calling me the milkman, saying I friggin' I don't even know half the insults. On the SoFi Weekly, it was like 100 things. I think he's got uh it feels like love. It does, surprisingly. But it's funny. Tevis is 19. I think he's 29. I think Tevis is 29. I would guess 34. Laura, come on. Come on now, shoot. No, I'm 26. Steven the Mountains has been here way too long. He knows. Same with Grim Peter. These guys have been around for freaking too long. I'll be 30 in July. What's on Tevis? I'm saying you're making me blush. You're making me feel all wise and old. I am 26. Yeah, turning 27 this month. Ah, well, you'll be older than me. I think Amit and I are only a week apart. Um, so I don't forget who's. I think he. I think I'm older by a week. I didn't call Tevis a cheapo, did I? Oh, I did. Yes, I did because I said that you wouldn't buy Streamyard. Yeah, I did. Um, okay. The recap should result in an additional 4 cents in Q1 plus 2 cents equals 6 cents for Q1 of 2024. What? Where are you getting this information? Where are you getting any additional 4 cents uh, for the recap? I think you're talking about the convertible note. And then where are you getting 2 cents for Q1? Because I'd have puts or I would have bets against individuals that say we get 6 cents this quarter. Tanner, do you think SoFi could have communicated the convertible note way better to the street? No. Excuse me. I think they understand full well. The newly made 21-year-old saying, he's a boomer. Relax. All right. You'll be here so soon. Then I'll be 31 still making YouTube videos talking about SoFi. Damn. No, it's actually okay. Tevis, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Hey, you know what? You're one of my favorite internet friends. Um, what else? Well, the 4 cents ish from the 2029 notes is a yearly amount. They don't just get it all up front. It's accrued over time in savings. Yeah, well, okay. So a couple things here. One, it's not going to be positive on an EPS basis because they're diluting. Okay. So we're not getting just 60 million, like we are getting $60 million extra, but it's also like they said it's going to be nominal to EPS. They said that. He said it literally on the Kramer call. So everyone brings up the part on the Kramer call where he says it's going to help tangible book value, and then they all forget that it says that it's freaking not going to affect EPS. But thank you, Tevis. I appreciate the sushi. And yes, you're right. The dividend was like every 6 months or something like this. I think it goes off in June and December or something like that. I forget. So that's really where we're going to save the money. We should all send Tanner sushi on the same day. Don't do that. I mean, if you want to just send me sushi the way that Tevis sent me sushi, which was donating through youtube.com, sure, go ahead. All on the same day. Laura, you first. You can start. Oh, man. Who gets first to 31, Tanner or SoFi? I would have all the money that SoFi gets there first. I'd be really disappointed if they don't. If I'm 31 and SoFi's down like $9 and I'm like, yeah, but this is going to turn around, I'll be pissed. Okay, what else are people saying? Tevis, you want to join up for a second? Let's get your. Do you wear contacts? You think I wear contacts and then glasses over top? No. No, I've never worn contacts. And not just now. Tevis, I'm going to send you an invite if you're busy. Don't join up, but you got nothing going on. So just join up. You know what I heard is that people insult the people that they love because they would never say hurtful things to someone that they actually feel bad about. Sometimes I feel like I'm picking on Tevis, and then I realize no. I'm so lazy, but Carla recently became a member recently, so if they want me to join, I'll join. Carla, it's all up to you. Do you think that they're going to lower interest rates in Canada sooner than in the United States? Zero opinion. I don't know. That's how I treated Carla. I'm sorry, Carla, but truly, I don't really have an opinion on it. If I were to give you an opinion one way or the other, it would be, misinformed. What's my day job? I'm a financial advisor, but nothing here is financial advice. You're not my clients. I don't know you. I don't know your risk tolerance. I don't know your time horizons. The stuff that I talk about here is what I do with my own money, not your money. What is the best credit card in Canada next to the Neo card? Neo card's kind of, in my opinion, weak right now. I would just simply prefer like a cashback card from Amex. I think that's a better card in Canada. Seemingly the better card everywhere. But yeah. There's not very many great like options that stick out that are just so much above the rest of the crowd. We don't have a Robinhood card yet, you know? You don't know us? Come on, dude. I thought we were all friends. We are all friends, but just I don't know you. It's funny, like just think about it. If we were on the street, if I pass you and you pass me, you'll recognize me. I will have zero clue who you are. So this is not financial advice. Evis, are you joining or not? Carla says yes. Oh, he's right here.
Hey,
What's up?
how's it going?
Straighten up. Where's your lights? You look dark.
Okay, hold on. It's so bright.
Oof. Ooh. Good morning.
What's up?
Not much, man. So, did you see the website traffic for SoFi today?
Yeah, it's up.
It's
I mean,
up.
this month, right? March.
Yeah, but it's up not even just on March. It's up on the entire quarter. Like the quarter is the new highest quarter we've seen.
Yeah.
Surprised?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a high correlation to anything, but it's directionally speaking great to see.
Yeah, it's you know, at some point it's got to count for something. I mean, whether it's revenue through financial services or new member signups, it's definitely not a negative.
Yeah, exactly. If it was going in any direction, I'd prefer it to be going up. So it's not going to really be. I do think that we're going to have a lot of members this quarter, simply from all the initiatives that we've had that are going to come to fruition. But I'm not having web traffic be the leading indicator. Actually, I was actually going to make a video tonight and post it tomorrow because I'm lazy. But in it, I was going to show Google Trends for SoFi Bank, and they're on a positive incline as well. They actually look really good. So when you put all of these things together, I mean, the new partnership with the golf guy, I don't watch golf, but I saw that the Masters, which is soon, Anthony Noto tweeted about this, that gets like a lot of viewers. It gets 10 to 15 million viewers, apparently. I'm giving away the entire video that I'm going to record, but all of these things add up, right? The MBA was this quarter as well. The credit card benefits, the referral benefits. I think that's all going to translate into a lot of members.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the Google Trends thing. I'm not trying to give away your whole. I'm not going to share my screen just so then you have a video tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
these degens will still watch the video. Let's be real.
What's it called? So
go US, right? Because they only operate in the US, so that's the only signal, right?
Well, that worldwide is, yeah, it looks identical.
And then go past, go longer term. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely make an argument to say, well, they didn't even have a bank charter until January 2022. So, yeah, and you can see that line there, in 2022, that's when the incline starts. And geez, Lurker, take it easy, man.
This is why I don't give him. That's why I don't give him the wrench, because he will abuse it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Lurker cannot be chess. You guys think I'm clicking the same freaking thing? He's out of control. He's a maniac. Lurker, I'm going to send you the link. You can come explain yourself. Sorry, go ahead, Tevis.
That's it. That's all I was saying. I mean, obviously, SoFi is going to be... So the focus for us as a retail crowd was purely on profitability for Q4. And now that Q1 comes around, I think we have to diversify that focus a little bit and assume that SoFi is going to be spending more in promotional sales and marketing spend, because we know that profitability is in the bag. Like, those metrics are still going to keep rising. We know that they can pull the lever at any time. I mean, we saw the EPS numbers for Q4. We also saw the margins for Q4 in general. So we know that they're not going to be unprofitable, but all of these initiatives push us to the direction to say that we're going to have high member growth. So I'm not sure. I think Kyle came out with his estimate first. That was 670 something thousand, 678, something like that. I'm personally a little bit. I'm personally a little bit more bullish than that. But Tevis's background, thank you. These guys. I think we're going to get higher numbers than that. Obviously, I sort of have to be if I'm looking for 1 million members over the next 4 quarters. I'm not going to say, 600, a million.
Mhm.
It's going to be a gradual incline, and I think that all of these factors contributing. Actually, do me a favor. If you go on my tweet, I'll show you something that's pretty cool. My most recent tweet.
Most prominent. This one.
No. So the most recent tweet, yes, exactly. So Kyle just posted this 20 minutes ago, and then they changed the logo design. So it has a bright blue background and the white text on the court.
Yeah.
Like all of these things, like they're A/B testing, things. They're seeing the results and they're iterating based on those results, which is cool, right? Because again, in isolation, we sound like a broken record because we're talking about the same things. And somebody watching can say, come on, man, how much of an impact can these things really make? But when you put them all together, they have a compounding effect. So I do expect a solid member addition this time around because there's a lot of tailwinds converging at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it does look better, but it's so crazy how far we go to be like, look at all the things that are happening at this company. But yeah, I do agree. It does look a lot better. I didn't like the one before. But I honestly, because this will be the first quarter from the NBA, I have zero expectations. Or sorry, not like I'm not expecting zero, but I don't know what to expect from the NBA deal, nor do I have any expectation of what the marketing costs will be. So that I'm really interested to see this quarter more than probably I have ever been.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you should have expectations and sort of form assumptions in your mind. Have an open mind to be pleasantly surprised. But at the same time, I think the NBA numbers and the logo designs and the championships around the NBA, the championships around the Masters, these are the things that we should be paying more attention to versus website traffic because they're a stronger driver of signal, whereas the rest is almost noise. It's good, it's directionally good, but it's not indicative of members.
I wonder how they track, because I continue to see them partner with athletes directly.
Yeah.
How they track that growth. Because it's not like they have their own code that says, hey, go to this website and that they can see the activations through that code. But
I don't think it's like a one-to-one relationship where we're running this referral code and we want to see how many signups we get from it. I think it's simply reinforcing the unaided brand awareness where they can post the survey at the beginning of this year or last year and then check every year or every 3 years or whatever to see how that brand awareness changes over time.
Yeah, but how do they know if it's worth their return on investment versus other advertising streams? Like I'm not in marketing, so
I would say and
untrackables. I find it hard.
I'm not in marketing either, but it's probably a multiple of eyeballs. Similar with SoFi Stadium, what does the logo on the stadium do for them? Well, Anthony Nadeau basically said that, hey, it's a play on the television spots. And so for the Masters, like this dude will have a T-shirt that says SoFi, which, by the way, I'm jealous if anybody from the SoFi team is listening. They give out hoodies to the SoFi subreddit just for having like an issue with the app. And I'm like, dude, I've made over 300 videos on SoFi.
Yeah.
I get a freaking hoodie. But anyway, so I think it's the same concept where this guy's going to wear his SoFi shirt. SoFi's going to be running ads at the Masters. Probably they're going to be running commercials. And it's the same exact thing where they can say, okay, the spend that we made here, is that equivalent to the viewership that this event got?
I mean, if it's obviously working to some degree because they continue to sign on more and more of these athletes. So I'm excited. I just can't wait for Q1. This is going to be really exciting. I think it's going to once again really pump the stock. And then what happens after that is going to be dependent on the analyst reports that come out after, either saying, hey, you know what? SoFi is doing XYZ wrong in their lending and that we don't believe that their fair value accounting is correct. These sort of things that they always do. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Honestly, man, like analysts are almost like a lagging indicator. Like, did you see the one that came out for Robinhood that was like, I think it's a buy? It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It ran from like 11 to 20, and then they come out at 20 saying, you should buy this, like pile on top of this.
But unlike, like, I do agree, it's not where I think that smart money follows those indicators,
Yeah.
but stocks move on those reports, so they're important.
Yeah. I mean, sure, yes and no. Does it really matter that stocks move on those reports?
Well, I want bullish reports because then the stock goes up even more, right?
I know, but it depends on how thin you slice the pie, right? Like the time frame. If you're saying, okay, I want to see the stock price movement over the next month, then yeah, stocks move on those reports. It's important, but over the next year, less important. Over the next 5 years, not significant at all.
Sure. Yeah, I've got like practically a fully. I don't see myself really adding too many more shares to SoFi unless it gets ridiculously cheap. But if it continues to hold out in the price that it's been holding out on, my position's full. So, now I'm ready for the stock to go up. And what's it called? Yeah, I don't know. I think that SoFi has to better help answer those questions that a lot of analysts are having around their lending platforms, and especially the tech platform, right? I don't think that they are doing a good enough job answering those questions. I think, and honestly, people maybe don't want to hear this from me. I think it's SoFi's fault in terms of just not giving enough transparency on their tech platform, and that's having a really hard way for them to value these companies. Like if they were to even just say, here's how much freaking transaction volume we do, at least then freaking analysts will be able to compare them to other payment companies to say, this company's doing this is their take rates, these are the, but without knowing how much GMV they're actually doing, we can't really put a take rate on it because you can't line that up with revenue. It's really hard for them to try to accurately put any valuation on Galileo, and so it gets a zero.
Look, man, I think an unpopular opinion that I'll say, and I might get flamed a little bit for saying this, but I think the bank charter was definitely a double-edged sword, because I understand that it's definitely a fantastic move. It gives them so much flexibility in terms of being a chartered bank, but it also pigeonholes the entirety of Wall Street to looking at this company as just a bank, and therefore Galileo gets as much respect as the Tesla bot gets for Tesla. They're like, it's an AI company and they have an R&D division. Who cares, really? We can't model that out. And
but
number one,
did change on Tesla.
What do you mean?
They broke out of the idea of
not
them.
Because of the bots, but because of the
No.
announcement. Anyway, I don't want to get into Tesla. I'm just saying that, like, I'm just using it as an anecdote to say that it doesn't get respect from the street because SoFi, the headline is they have a bank charter. They are a chartered bank. Therefore, they operate same as a bank operates. And the comparables become Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. They don't become, PayPal, Nubank, whatever. So
yeah, but Nubank's a bank.
Tanner, insert other fintech.
No, but what I'm saying, okay, so here, I want to mention a couple of things. One, someone asked what GMV was. I don't want to get too far away from that. It's gross merchandise volume, just how much money is being spent on the platform. Or in this case, it would be like GPV, which is just payment volume. Anyway, in terms of the bank charter, I disagree. I think that, and everyone should flame you. Everyone flamed Tevis because that was in the marketplace of ideas. That's what people call a bad idea.
I'm full of them, honestly. The other thing I wanted to mention before you cut me off was the thing that they give up is crypto, and crypto is really the main, like, it's like the absolute worst time. I love how people in the chat are like, it's absolute worst time. The timing was just poor for the bank charter. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it. Absolutely, they should have done it. I'm just saying that it's not like there are drawbacks to everything that they do. And that's one of them, is that because SoFi has a bank charter, they are seen as a bank. And as a result, all the other aspects of their business, financial services and technology platform, don't get enough respect. And they also have to give up crypto for it. So, I mean, Robinhood is let's say they have the fintech aspects, but they also have crypto, and crypto is one of the main reasons why the stock is getting a lift. Now, that's purely looking at it from the stock perspective over the course of this rally. It's not looking at it from an underlying company perspective over the long tail, because I do agree that the value proposition for SoFi is that ecosystem, and the bank charter is a huge part of that.
So the same person that asked before about the GMV or whatever asked about, you know, how poor SoFi has been getting looked at since they've been a bank. Now, let's try to imagine what would have happened if they weren't a bank during the time of that insane increase in rates. We would have been forced to sell our loans because we could only hold it for a 3-month period. Okay. During that time, we would have had to purge all of our personal loans at potential massive, well, not massive losses, but losses versus the how much we could have just gained by just accruing the interest through the payments that we would be receiving. So, like, people want to find a victim or like a reason for why the stock didn't go up, but that wasn't it. That was a super strong part of the company that actually allowed us to survive what we survived, or else all of our expenses on our loans would have been at warehouse facilities, which is 240 basis points higher than what we're doing for, you know, bringing in deposits. So I don't agree just because we've gained so much. And I know that you said that we gained so much, but I think that they just need more transparency on the tech platform. They will get a valuation similar. Now, I don't want to have a conversation about Tesla, but what will make the bot part of the valuation is just seeing some freaking bots. You know,
Yeah.
Tesla did not get valued more than an auto company until they started really growing some of their other like energy businesses and these sorts of things. Then they started getting that valuation. The bot will come into play, I promise you. It's just a matter of none of them freaking exist.
My point is that unlike the bot, Galileo is doing real revenues today.
Yeah, but they don't know how good it's doing. We don't
Right.
know.
What do you mean we don't know?
Well, we
I
don't
mean,
know
we don't see the segment details for Galileo's clientele. We don't
any
see
of
the
them.
breakdown of the clients. I get it. But at the same time, we do have real revenue that's coming from Galileo. And what I'm saying is that similar to, and it's an imperfect comparison, I get it, but
Okay, but
similar to Tesla.
let's just say something real quick because I want you to make sure that we understand the catalysts that are coming up. Okay,
Sure.
Citigroup is going to become a big client of SoFi. Let's just say it's Citi. Okay,
Sure.
how does an analyst value that? How much revenue comes from that deal?
Sure.
A lot? We don't know because we don't have a segment separation between Technisys and Galileo. And so we don't even know how much these deals go for versus other banking competitors.
Yeah, but there's a big stretch to say. So if you look at it from a spectrum perspective, on one end of the spectrum, you're saying if we don't have detailed client information around who the clients are, how long their term lengths are, how much they're paying, what is the premium, what is the margin. If we don't have that, you know, we can't measure it. And then the other side of the spectrum saying, well, what we do have is we have the revenue, we have the expenses, we have the growth rate, we have the margins overall as a segment. There's an in-between ground there that you can assign a valuation to, number one, and then assign a premium for the growth rate. And I think that forward-looking piece is something that retail does well, that analysts don't do well, because there's risks involved in that. If I, as a retail investor, say, okay, for Tesla, I think that it's going to be 99% cars today, 1% energy, and 0% bot, but I'm buying for the premium that bot is going to be X% later on in 5 or 10 years. Analysts will never do that. They'll always report on, this is why I'm saying they're a lagging indicator, because they always report after the print is in, right? After the earnings results are in, and after they say, hey, we've actually been working towards Galileo being a huge part of our business, 50% of our revenue combined with financial services. it's now a higher percentage. We have higher margins. We have bigger clientele. And then analysts are going to be retroactively going back and saying, oh, wow, this Galileo thing. Whereas retail investors are tackling it from the other side to say, okay, what is management saying about Galileo? Do I trust them? Do I not trust them? What is the execution risk involved? Here's the premium ahead of time, ahead of that execution. And I think there's alpha in that.
No, I absolutely. I just think part of that valuation, like I think investors stomach bad news so well. They can take great news, they can take bad news, they can never take uncertainty. And so, like you see Tesla now, even after the freaking bad earnings has come in, the stock is higher than what it was, or sorry, the bad deliveries. The stock is back higher than what it was pre the terrible deliveries for March. And so I just think that if you leave a lot of those questions unanswered, those are the comments that we see all the time now at the tech platform. It's just like, we don't know how to value it, we don't understand it. Gary Gordon doesn't put a freaking price on the stock because he goes, they don't write about it. You can do enough deep diving to realize what they do, but how do you assign a premium on something that you don't understand?
Yeah, well, I think for Tesla, a big part of it is that uncertainty going away, but I also think equally a big part of it is Elon's announcement for 8.8. There's so many people assigning a premium today to what that announcement could be for full self-driving, for robo taxis, and for new models. And so this is exactly what I'm saying, right? So it's the market is forward looking, but analysts, I don't think are to some degree. Like if you had to quantify, my camera's lagging again. If you had to
Oh, good.
quantify how much the market is forward looking, I would say retail is like 80%, analysts are 20%, maybe even less.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I think that SoFi will do great things. I'm just people think that I'm being bashful. I just want the most amount of information so then we can get the highest premium. And I don't know why constantly it feels like um, we're everyone's asking for these questions to be answered and they're leaving them, unanswered. Like we can say, oh well, it should be fine, and you can kind of deal with it. It's like, why do we have to deal with it? Why don't you just tell us some of these non-gap metrics?
I
I don't know.
think
It's supposed to be a third of your business.
for SoFi, you mean like for management to open more of the books on Galileo?
Yeah, tell us how many transactions you're doing. Tell us how many, or tell us how much money is actually flowing through the platform. Tell us in what geographies that money is flowing through the platform. In what products? Like what? Like I'm not asking for the specific information, but just do what a PayPal or any of these companies would do. We're seeing a lot of activity on the buy now, pay later side, debit cards, secured cards. These are our corporate customers. This kind of breaks down into these percentages, even. At least I can kind of look at that to understand a little bit more about the Galileo and Technisys thing. But you probably get it the most as well. All the comments from retail to me is, hey, can you do a video breaking down Galileo and Technisys? As if I have some information that they don't. It's like
Well,
they don't explain it. I need explaining.
yeah. So I think the flip side of it, let's just say this quarter they came out and they said, hey guys, here's an additional 10 slides on Galileo alone. The first thing that would happen is people would hyperfixate on the breakdowns. And then people would start to make a mountain out of a molehill in terms of saying, oh, wow, 50% of SoFi's Galileo revenue comes from 3 clients. If we lose those clients, we're screwed or
But
whatever.
that's
And
the
so
information that we need to know,
I
right?
understand, but you have to understand that Galileo, I mean, push back on this, right? But I'm just trying to play devil's advocate as to thinking to ourselves, why haven't they done this yet? If we just subscribe to the idea that people are going to hyperfixate on the super minute details about Galileo, if they break it out, then I think that Galileo right now is at a semi infancy stage where it's still ramping up and it's not yet stable. I mean, we lost current and that set us back like 3 quarters to even like regain the record members. Um, I think it's definitely on the table for when Galileo matures a little bit, and especially as Galileo contributes to more of the revenue, you're going to have more clamoring for people from both the analyst, institution, and retail side to maybe open the books a little bit more, but not when it's in ramp up phase, because they might not just they might not want to invite that scrutiny or that unwanted sort of like, I know Vadim and Chris Hager and all these guys would like go through it with a fine-tooth comb and find all these inconsistencies where management might know about them and might be super aware that, hey, they're just startup things. Because we're scaling up quickly, we are focusing right now on the top line of Galileo, the margins, and the contribution profit, and we're going to worry about the customer mix, the geography mix, the whatever later. But the rest of the market doesn't necessarily know that. And so as a result of that, I could see them omitting all of the details and just giving us what we need to know for now.
I don't think, like, if I saw, for example, that SOFI, I don't know. I've always said the more information that an info or an investor knows, the more, like, the better off that they are, right? And I think it's also why Affirm and Nubank and these sort of companies get such large premiums, is because they leave no stone unturned about answering questions. And I think for the most part, SoFi is very, very transparent. I'm not saying that they're not. It's just the tech platform. It's like, why is every investor giving it, or every institutional investor giving it, a $0 premium? And it's like, well, why don't we try, like, worried about, geography mixes and where there might be weak points or client concentration, which, by the way, I totally think there is. I think Chime is so big, by the way. I think Chime is growing insane, like, which is good. I'd rather have a customer that takes up 40% of our revenue for the tech platform than not have them at all. So, you know what I mean?
I mean, think of it from the NDA perspective as well. Like, how valuable would it be for Galileo for them to make a top 20 list of clients? And then
No, don't. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for that at all. I think that they are right in the idea that they should not talk about their clients too often. I think that it's important for them to say how much money they're doing in total, by what geography, and by what product line. I think that's normal. That should be a standard. And that way we can address transaction rates and where fraud comes in. And they keep talking about how much their payment risk platform, like how much this is going to grow. And we just have to go, sweet. Like, I'm very hopeful for that. But is that 2% of the technology platform revenue, or is it 20?
Well, okay, so what would that
much
show
closer
you,
to 2, by the way.
It just shows you the cross-sell between Galileo and Technisys, because, like, we know Galileo is concentrated in the US, we know Technisys is in Latin America. All you want to know is how many people are in between.
Well, yeah, I mean, 1,000%. I would like to know, like, they talk about LATAM. Now I want to know how many clients they have down in LATAM and what is the cross-sell there. Because then I can say, you know what? 25% growth in the technology platform is conservative. Because we know that, because of all the data that we know from the banking side, where I can go, wow, that is really conservative. They can do a lot better than that.
Tanner, there's nothing you gain. I know, yeah, you want to see it. And sure, I want to see it too. But there's nothing for them to gain there. Because, like, if the data shows over time that the growth is in LATAM, then people are going to say, oh, SoFi doesn't operate in LATAM. Why is the growth there? It doesn't matter. We should put, a smaller premium on that. If they say that the growth is in
right now.
What's that?
I said, you're being an insane person right now. You think that whenever Celsius says that they are really, really small internationally, that investors look at that as a bad sign? No, they say, look at that TAM that we can go after. All the growth has been domestic.
Because Celsius right now is at that point in their growth strategy where international expansion is top of mind. SoFi has not mentioned anything about them expanding into Latin America more actively, other than just buying Technisys, which is a Latin American company.
The last 4 companies that I've reported on for Galileo getting new customers has all been in LATAM, all of them. So sure, they are expanding in LATAM. And I can see that to some degree because, people go crazy trying to find these clients. But How big of the client? Like, I don't know. And I don't need to know the individual contract. Like, I'm not asking for anything crazy. I think that it's silly to say, you know what, it's better for us investors to be in the dark.
And so, no, yeah, well, hold on. I think there's reasons for us investors to be in the dark, is all I'm saying. Like, okay, so answer me this then. Let's just say they showed this quarter the breakdown between Technisys and Galileo, and 90% is in the US, 10% is in LATAM. Do you really think that just by having that incremental piece of data, analysts are going to be like, oh, Galileo, I totally know what this does. Let me assign a premium to it now. They're not. So what problem are you really solving other than just wanting to know the data?
Dude, the Galileo is not an an area where analysts cannot understand it. It's payments. There's a lot of payment companies. It's fully understandable. The problem is how do you compare it whenever you have no comps to compare the company to? That is the problem, is they don't know how to value the company with no data, right?
Yeah, but the data that you're asking for does not give them comps, first of all. And second of all, it is totally
the data
understandable.
that you are saying, which is the geography mix, is not the highlight. The highlight is take rate.
You're the one that said the geography mix. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what data
I
do
said
they
like
want?
5 different things. You kept sticking to that one. I'm saying, why don't we see? So number 1, gross payment volume. Number 2, total transaction count. Then start getting into product mix and geography mix and these sorts of things. But geography mix is not the only, like, if they just came out and they said, here's what we're split amongst, but like, we don't know the revenue splits between Technisys and Galileo. We can make some assumptions to see, where we were before and then after we acquired Technisys, and see the large change in the revenue there. But we don't know how that's evolving. So
we know the margins, right? Between, like, we know Galileo has higher margins than Technisys. They report on that already.
Well, they told us whenever we acquired it. We don't see that. Like, we don't see that as time goes on.
I'm sure it's like in their press releases, is it not? In their earnings reports, when they report on Galileo, they talk about the margins for both.
I'd love to see that. I don't remember that.
Hold on.
I can't remember them talking about Technisys because it's now just Galileo. I don't remember them splitting it too much.
Give me a sec.
If Tevis is wrong, yes, he is buying us all sushi. That is what he just said.
Okay, hold on.
Tevis's boxer says, hey, leave me out of this.
I just want to see.
Let's see. Yeah, exactly. The way that we know how well Venmo is doing, because before people were putting this massive massive premium on the fact that PayPal had Venmo. And now that Venmo's growth is slowing, people are like, oh, wait, you know what? The actual take rate on Venmo is really low and the growth is starting to slow. So do we put a premium on that? And now we see how effective Braintree was. If they didn't report on how good Braintree was doing, then all we would know is that they acquired a company back in 2013. How do you value a white label product? You wouldn't even know that customers are using it. Same thing with Galileo. I look at some of the customers that they've reported on, like that we know they use because it's on Galileo's website, like Bluevine. And then I see reports that Bluevine is working with these other companies, and I go, okay, well, does Galileo still work with them, or are they for separate issues? Like are they addressing 2 different problems? Now I'll probably get a DM or something from Anthony Noto going, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong, but that's because I don't freaking know.
Okay, hold on. Oops.
This is the type of guy to type in https://www into a URL.
Rat Pack is recycling his jokes. I saw the margarita one twice.
I saw the margarita one as well. That made me lose respect.
Gotta call that shit out. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so they call out the technology platform margin. They call out the technology platform margins, but they don't necessarily call out the breakdown of the margins. So you can see here. Um, and that's pretty much all we have. But yeah, before they consolidated this, maybe it was Q2. Um, they were saying, Galileo did this with a margin of 30 something percent compared to Technisys with a margin of 20, or despite Technisys having a margin of 20 something percent. And so that's where it's stuck in my head. But it could be that after they consolidated them both under one umbrella term for technology platform, that this is all that they say.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I get that if they get rid of Technisys, that you're not going to be splitting the companies into two different margins, right? Like Block just got rid of Afterpay as being a separate segment because they're just like, this is Cash App. But also it's like, I don't know, split it by product then, a lot of companies will, especially like I see someone in here saying, like Himothy is saying, everyone says Venmo me. Well, on consumer side businesses, even if you don't directly get certain metrics, you can judge it based off app downloads, these sorts of things. But B2B companies, like, you need to be very specific with how those companies are doing so then people can value it.
So take a look at this.
Because you're not going to see any of that.
So this is Q3 2022. I just sort of scrolled back and I just found one. I don't know when the time they stopped doing this. So contribution profit increased 24% for a margin of 23%. This is on the slump after they lost Current. Excluding Technisys, contribution margin was 30% versus 31%. So you could do probably some math here, but you don't really know the breakdown of Technisys versus Galileo and the revenue split, right? So, but you do, so, we continue to see this business operating 20 to 30% contribution margin for the foreseeable future. What you don't know is you don't know the breakdown of how that contributes to that, let's say 80 million or whatever they're doing on the technology platform side. And then you don't know what the margins are for each of those segments specifically. You sort of have an idea based on what they've said previously, but ever since they blended the term, all you get is one number revenue and then one number margin, just blended.
Think about it this way, because there might be some Palantir folk in here. Imagine if they didn't tell you the difference between government clientele and commercial clientele, or even clientele that are above a certain amount of money per contract, right? Like, I don't think that necessarily changes the way that the company is operating. SOFI will do fine without that information, but it allows investors to go in and say, wow, government's doing so much better. They're taking such a large market share. We can assign a premium to this because they're taking market share. We don't even know how many clients Galileo has versus how many clients Technisys has. What is the Venn diagram between those two different businesses? Did someone say Palantir? Yes. Right when dude, I felt your presence. Palantir. So I think that whenever you're a B2B business, you need to be very specific. Not saying, like, I don't think it's Palantir's job to say these are the customers that we're working with. That I'm not asking for. But just give us some blank numbers so we can track stuff. Let me put something on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, but I mean, with Palantir, the level of granularity that they provide is still, I think that's what you're advocating for Galileo, because right now, I mean, I see Amit and Arnie and others on a weekly basis announcing new contracts that they're getting. And it reminds me of back when people would do this analysis. Like, even today they do it. They do flyovers for Tesla. They look at VIN number registrations, and they get a pretty accurate ballpark number of what deliveries are going to come in. And then from that, what the earnings are going to come in. You could do a similar assessment with Palantir to say, okay, what are the major contracts that they won? We know the values, especially people in that community that are so in depth. And so if Galileo were to break it out that granularly, it would provide that alternative for the SoFi retail community as well to understand the contracts. because then we would understand how users translate to revenue. Right now, we know we have 150 million users or whatever for Galileo, and we know that translates to 80 something million or 90 million. We don't know exactly who contributes to what, which one is more, which one is less, what that ratio is. And so we don't know the value of each user. We assume it's equal, but it's definitely not equal.
Well, yeah, but I just think that if left to analysts' own opinions to make up the valuation on that, they're going to slide to the worse side, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. Anyway, I got that off my chest because for a long time, I think a lot of SoFi, like people that are diving into the company, are just realizing like there's not a lot of information on this third of the business, and then we get mad whenever analysts are not reporting on it, and then Noto and team and all them have this information like perfectly laid out for them. They know it, and then so the bears of the company would say, hey, well, if you have all that information, why aren't you saying it?
Well, I mean, the bears of the company, again, we go back full circle. This is like circular reasoning. The bears are it's a catch-22. The bears are going to say, why don't you break it out? The value should be 0. And then you break it out, and the bears are going to say, well, actually, you're too concentrated, the value is 0, or you're too dispersed, the value is 0. What are you reading?
Dude,
are you reading your crazy X?
I'll have my girlfriend come up and literally say this. Tanner's the type of guy who says to the waiter, surprise me whenever they ask what you would like to eat. That is 100% me. I've said that. I say that every single time.
Read unboxing 101s. Why is it that every time I come on, this audience just goes ballistic?
Tevis is the type of guy to wear oven mitts to handle hot dishes fresh out of the microwave. Yeah, you wear oven mitts to do the dishwasher like right after you've opened it.
Just like the what do you call it? Like the rubber ones to wash the dishes.
Rat Pack, you've gotten one right. And also, stop calling me Milk Boy. I saw that now. They've combined Course Boy with Milkman. Now Milk Boy.
We're never gonna get an interview with Anthony Noto with this crowd. We're just never gonna do it.
Yeah, they're flaming Anthony Noto in the chat. Noto's the type of guy to roll his R's whenever he orders a margarita.
Yeah,
dude.
Noto gave an interview to Milk Boy, SoFi to 0.
Yeah. A couple of people that just are in the chat every now and then think I'm Paperboy.
Yeah, that's one of my mods flaming you too. It's just
Nala.
Yeah, not a lurker. He was the one that asked me to come on. He DM'd me on Twitter. He's like, "Hey, Tanner's on." Okay.
Oh, sweet, dude. No, I flame Nala a lot, but he's a great addition to the channel. So
I'm actually
ETF, who is a mod on the thing, who's been here forever, and he flames me too. But he said type 1 if you want to ban Nala and type 2 if you don't. And the only two people that were voting was ETF and not a lurker.
So it's I want to admit in front of your 400 viewers that it took me way too much time to realize when you guys were saying Nala, it's just an acronym for not a lurker. I was like, this is an inside joke, or this is somebody's nickname, and it's literally an abbreviation of his name. And then also for ETF, I kept calling him ETF for like years, and it's literally ET, comma, FaceTime home. Yeah, I'm not good with these.
But I just like ETF and Nala. They're easier.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else you want to talk about, or should I go record my video now?
I think we do one quick chess game and then we wrap it up.
Sure.
All right. Oh, dude, actually, I shouldn't even offer that because I'm just going to lose.
Well, my computer lags, so if you do a 1 minute, I'll probably lag out. But...
Well, you don't have to stream it. I'll do the streaming. Oh. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You can keep the processing power down.
Sure.
Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to. I think my computer's lagging now too.
Yeah, Gary Gordon, you always lose.
I want to know who it is that just has 4 accounts open.
Yeah,
Teviz's boxers, Tanner's t-shirt, Gary Gordon. It's all the same person. I'm
and
aware of that.
Tanner, scroll up because he also created a new account, and it was like Tanner's Crazy X or something. Yeah, Crazy Tanner X at 9:46, and it has your picture, and I just died. I couldn't focus.
What? At 9:46?
9:46. Oh my god. Crazy Tanner X. So good.
I don't see it. 9:46. Oh, there's a
It's just look at Tanner's
it's a
picture.
screenshot directly off the monitor. I think that's from today.
Oh my gosh, man, these people.
I asked Amit if he wanted to do a finance YouTuber boxing event one day. I'd be down for that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, man. Yes.
I'd love to beat the shit out of some of you guys.
No, you know who you'd need someone like your own size. I don't know how big Vitali is, but that looks like a good match. You versus Vitali.
Yeah, that could be fun. We could do like a welterweight, heavyweight, whatever division.
How tall is Jeremy?
Jeremy would definitely kick your ass.
Is he a big boy?
Jeremy's taller than I am, dude.
Okay, you know what? Then I'll just I'll pick on Amit then. Okay.
All right, you sending the link?
Yeah, I'm sending a link. Let's go. All right, guys, just so we're aware, there might not be a whole lot of people that play chess here, okay? I'm like a 1,000 rating, and Tevis is like a 1,600 rating, so I'm going to lose. We play a lot of fights where he sacrifices his queen, and I still lose. But, yeah, Julia, we could do a chess boxing event. Then that would be interesting. But then Tevis, he would be like seed 1 for sure. And surprisingly, like Chris Patel, who I think would do really well on the boxing side, does a terrible job in chess. I think he's like a 400 or 500 elo.
The fact that you have 400 people watching you just randomly play chess is just mind-boggling to me. Like,
I had 20 people drop off. and you also have to remember, because not everyone that's watching is even watching live right now. So they're watching going like, oh, great SOFI information. Then they get to the chess, they go, oh, you know.
It's just Tanner complains all the time. Not complains, but he asks advice saying, oh, it's so difficult to talk about all of these other stocks. And then you guys are literally like going to watch us play chess now. So.
Well, now they're going to leave. They're going to be like, I don't know what that is. Okay, I sent you an invite. Here, let me make sure it's brought up. This is a 1-minute match, and then we're going to log off.
Oh my gosh.
Don't go to Amex. It's all right.
All right, let's do it.
Is that good? Or I guess it doesn't make a difference.
You're going to auto board in 5 seconds.
Okay, I'm okay. That's Tanner winning so far. Tanner caught him out. He made a mistake. There's no gambit there. He's just playing bad. That's okay. That is less okay. That is less okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna lose now.
The buzzing sound.
I'm gonna lose now. I've officially lost. Okay. Okay, dude, I lost. All right, one more game.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm doing this live. This sucks. No. Go away. And Black actually plays second, so the The win ratio for black is much lower, so it's okay if I lose this time. I'm not really supposed to be winning. That's normal chess. Everyone knows that. Oh, you little! I didn't think you were gonna see it. Hold on now. Hold on now. Hold on now. Jeepers Scoobs. Oh, dude, I'm gonna lose now again.
Or did he leave?
This is not the way it was supposed to go.
I came on your channel and I'm doing this. This is embarrassing.
Dude, go away. Go away. Okay. Well, hold on now. Hold on. Just wait a second, Tevis. Just wait. No. Dude, this sucks. I'm just trying to be a good sport. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I got no time. Maybe that had to do something with me walking away. You don't know how to checkmate me. That's embarrassing for you. I messed that up. This is embarrassing. Yeah. All right. That's it. He wins. All right. Let's keep it 100%. I lost, but he didn't sacrifice his queen, so it wasn't an even game.
The 1 minute games are like nerve wracking. I always like worry about. I always forget about the increment because you always play with increment, and I never play with increment.
I should have flipped the board. All right, guys, that was fun. Tomorrow we'll be back with the fintech news. There's going to be great news like there is every day. I should start doing a morning stream like what Amit does. I think that's a good way to wake up. But
Tanner's t-shirt. I'm a small now.
I don't know what does that say? Does that even have a tag?
I wouldn't show it to the camera. You've been embarrassed enough tonight.
It's a medium. I know it's a medium. That's why. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go eat some tacos. Bye for now.
See you, everybody.